All right, so I was saying that information management is a process of collecting, storing, managing, and maintaining information in all of its forms, the forms that we talked about previously, be it physical or digital. So we are saying that information management is a broad term that incorporates policies and procedures for centrally managing and sharing information among different individuals, organizations, or information systems throughout the information life cycle. Do you know what a policy is? Hmm? A policy is a rule. Gracious, do you agree? Madam, but the last name is Nguira. What's your last name? Mzomera. It ends there? That's where it ends, Mzomera? Yeah, usually. Yeah. No, okay. Yes. What is a policy? The exam policy states that it should not come with any other reference material. If you are found, you are disqualified. So what is a policy? These are agreed upon regulations that must be followed. If you go against them, there are specified actions that are taken. And then what is a procedure? It's a guideline of how things are done. For example, how do you handle sensitive data? Okay, there's a procedure. You have to put in security mechanisms so that not everyone should have access. If it's an information management system, you have to put user rights on who views what, who does not view what. Okay, so you put a set of procedures. How do you dispose of information that has reached its lifespan? Those are procedures. Now, the diagram you're seeing there, that's the information life cycle. So it has 6 steps. The information life cycle has 6 steps. The first phase, that's the creation phase. So this includes structured and unstructured data is created. Madam Zomera, can you differentiate between structured and unstructured data? Anything, not even related to this. When something is structured and another is unstructured.
I think that the structure is something arranged in a certain order.
Yeah, pretty much that's that. Okay. There is certain information that follows a prescribed order, while others They don't. Okay. For example, if you want to send an internal communication, usually you do it through a memo. A memo is structured, isn't it? It has to show what, Bwana Zio? What is contained in the memo? Sumnalandireko memo? First of all, imena kuonesa where it's originating from it. It also has to show who it is addressed to, isn't it? It has to show who are copied in that regionet. It's supposed to have a subject matter, isn't it? It's supposed to have a signature. Okay? Supposed to have, I've already talked about the subject matter, which is the title, and then it's supposed to have the content, it's supposed to have a date. That's a memo. Similarly to a letter, isn't it? Similarly to an email, isn't it? How about WhatsApp? Does it have a structure? But it will convey the same message, isn't it? Can we meet in the boardroom? The agenda is chakuti, 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 chakuti. Okay? So, phase one of the information life cycle, you have the creation phase. So, documents are created either structured or unstructured. We're saying that it can be in form of Microsoft Office documents or PDF files, emails, information that is in the database, or sometimes even images. So we are saying that in this phase, security classification occurs based on an enterprise data security policy. You have to know the type of data that you are creating and the security measures that are going to be put in place for this type of data. When you are done with your studies here, we have to create your certificates. So it will start at the academics office. Okay. So create the data on your certificate. Security measures that will be put in place. One, it will have what do we call this code which you scan? QR, right? Yeah, it will have a code. That code will have your details. Okay, when you started here, your transcript, the contact person in case someone is in doubt, that's your certificate. Okay. Obviously, your student number has to be visible, your name, the program that you are doing. Okay. So we put those security features to ensure that no one duplicates that document. Similarly, when they are manufacturing money, isn't it? There are security mechanisms that are put in place, and it's not easy to duplicate money due to those security features. Otherwise, if they don't, then me and Gracious, we can agree, let us print money. Okay, and we stop working and he stops schooling, isn't it? Phase two, that's the storage phase. So once you have created the file, it will be stored somewhere. So at this point, you ensure that stored data is protected and the necessary data security controls have been implemented. Can you mention storage devices that you know that can store your data and suggest security mechanisms that you can put in place? iCloud it. So iCloud, first of all, you create your, for you to gain access, you're supposed to have user logins, isn't it? You authenticate yourself and then you have access. What other storage medium? Hmm? Google Drive, yes. Yes, Google Drive. Similarly to Ujanet, iCloud, eh? Uh, yeah. It also has security mechanisms. Perhaps you can share the contents of Google Drive by sending a link to whoever you want to share it with it. Any other storage device? Flash drive. How do you protect the contents of a flash drive? Okay, yeah. You know, they have a physical law course, right? Some. Okay, na go mango kaka ngono mango ka gwesera the same way a car child locks works it. You lock and then you unlock. Others, yes, you use a software to lock them, but some they're just open. Okay. In that case, it depends what type of data it is that you want to store there. If it's sensitive, then that data that you're storing has to be encrypted. Okay. By now, SNAT, you know how to encrypt a Microsoft Word document, isn't it?
Somehow, yes.
Believing is seeing. Let us try. Iji chibwanji sikuonesa. Keep changes. Right, so I have this file. Paris. So SNAT, what do I do if I want to, assuming there is sensitive data there? So I want to encrypt this one. What do I do? Gracious. Nditani. This is sensitive data. I know with the flashy, I can lose it. If it gets in the hands of Griffin, it will go viral. All right, so you go and fire it. Okay. As soon as you go there, maona we protect document, inspect documents, version, what. So you click on protect document. Okay, so it will give you a list of security mechanisms that you can put. For example, you can encrypt with a password. You can restrict editing. For example, document yomune nakutengerani, it consumed a lot of money. For example, tikamavanga is my program. Okay, like I'm designing program ya BSc IT. Takes a lot of time and resources, eh? So I can't just leave it Bambalambanda Winango Sint House, just a University of Lilongwe, and then they put the name that suits their university, and then they start using it. Okay, it will be unfair for me. Right? So there are all these restrictions that you can put. Okay, so here we are focusing on this one. Encrypt with a password. So you can choose whatever password. It will ask you to enter twice, right? And then okay. So it will even tell you the status now. A password is required to open this document. So if I try to open, it will now ask for a password, right? Okay, we used to do it back then. Maga tekamapita ku Senate. Was it Senate? Not Senate per se. Umano maiso akafomedwa, right? There's a committee. Okay, yomwe imagabanga review ma question aja amaona rationale kuti akufusidwa budget. Yeah, so it passes through many hands, right? So one of the ways to prevent leakages, timaiga my password. When it happened within one of the exams, my password anasogonekera. You have to be very careful. Right? Sure. Muslims and password. I remember we used to host Army to invest in Mauritius. So that's how they would send us Maeso. So Maeso, they say Maeso Aligo Mawa, they would send today, but without a password. Password, they would only send it 15 minutes into exam. You only have 15 minutes to print, and then they go straight into an exam. I hope I didn't encrypt something important. Huh? Ndubezo to iwala so password. Usually my passwords are the same. Command your vutisisa.
Most people, we do that. Just twist around. It was as one twisting.
Easy, eh? Yeah, so in the storage phase, so the organization will have a policy on how documents are stored. If it's physical files, aguza nomwena opanga mafolder, this is how you arrange them. If they're electronic based, similarly, you have to create a database and then you name them accordingly. Zokuza nandowa accounts, you create a folder, choncho. Okay. The next phase is the usage phase. So we're saying that once a file has been created and it is stored, then you start using it. So during this phase, data is used, processed, modified, and saved. So here, security controls are applied to data at a point of use. So you need to be able to monitor the user activity and apply security controls to ensure data leak prevention. You need to have a log sheet who is accessing the data. The next phase is the sharing phase or share phase. So during this phase, data is shared amongst users or employees, customers, partners, necessitating a strategy that continuously monitors data stores for new instances of sensitive data. So during the sharing phase, data will move across several platforms, be it private locations and public locations. Welcome, Toku.
Just
Could you stay home or you are a border? Both. Huh? Mm. Atoko. Richard. Kuzije pesa?
business communication, never just communication with you.
Mm.
Okay, you're learning both at once. You're learning both at once. No, online so far. Of course, they actually we're doing business communication. No, you apply it according to communication.
Is it? Business combination abanga tadale kapena dasio blessings nyasulu.
I'll tell you it was Zungene.
Oh, okay. And then the other phase is the archive phase. So after you have used the information, you have shared it for some time, there comes a point where it's no longer actively used. So at this point, maybe it can just be used as reference data. That's where you archive. So archive, it's where you keep things that are not inactive frequently. So they are only used for referencing. For example, your JCE. Simuyuza it. Amene munalemba yani ya primary yani certificate. Yeah. Unless ngati umapanga curriculum ya Cambridge, kumene wonso iliko certificate yake. Ngati umapanga ya Manebu, primary school living certificate is there. Yeah. Yeah. Komano, it's not something that you actively use at this day. Okay? But you are supposed to archive it somewhere. But my universities, for example, you want to upgrade, I'm a former certificate or so. Yeah, I remember like when we were partnering with Amitet, pezori muntu wabwera ndi first degree yake, ndi MSCE. I didn't know we need JC. We also need your primary. Agula. Zimetimele zoti they are no longer relevant. Okay, you only need them, let's say, upita secondary school somewhere or something, or applying for a bachelor's degree. So we had to go to Minister of Education just to clarify it. Koma ena mazifuna nditwe. So you put them on archive. Panoponde utokonza kwambiri because your understanding now is broader. Or is muphuzira apa ena umalephera yanjani. 10 years from now, you'll be laughing at yourself. Your thinking is kind of different. Yeah. mane mbuyo mujinga ndizunguze ebe mina ne masamu. But the rest, ya se masamu nikangona x plus y basi. Kumana I college nazipeza zambiriso. Aish, amwe. No choice. So you are forced, eh? I had started a PhD in economics just because there was that chance, eh? Yeah. After attending few classes, I said, no, this is not my thing. Nditaukoza, ndimaliza inde, it's not something that's not the field that I would want. Because with PhD, umakazi zori, when you have retired, then you start using it, eh? You lecture somewhere, you start says, if it's a field that you're not into, a blackboard basuzungu na dzima sambre. Ay. Just because it's in line with my field, eh? Boolean equations and whatnot. How to convert these things into bits. So, phase 6, that's the destroy phase. So, once you have archived the data and you see that it's no longer relevant, then the next phase is to destroy. So, to prevent data leak, you must ensure that you delete a file securely. How do you delete files securely? Talk. How do you delete files if it's an electronic file? How do you destroy it? How do you delete it permanently from your computer? Okay. Ologa bangan do imabwerera. Okay. Have you ever been to an auction? Maga concerning kuta kugulisa ma computer. Let's say UNDP yet. Kandia USAID. US Embassy what. Panga auction yote pali ma computer. They will sell you the computer, komano RAM, the hard drive, amajos. There are softwares that can retrieve whatever data was deleted. When you delete something, it just goes into a hidden state, but it's there. That is why whenever you commit a crime, the first thing they'll take is your electronic gadgets, because that's where all the information is. So on the phone yako, they'll plug it into a software, it will retrieve my conversation unapanga delete that was 2010. Okay. Of course, not all files can be retrieved. I'm a cast state again in which you can retrieve them. Okay. If it's 2, 3, 4 years, they can retrieve. But above that, zima voted. So my hard drive usually they burn them. Okay. RAM, the same thing. Why? Because those things, they store data that can be retrieved. So they don't not want to expose themselves. Ngati my embassy, they share sensitive data with their countries. For example, Malawi can have an embassy in South Africa. kumene uko machitika zinthu mwina kwachitira nkhaza Malawi or something or dziko lonse likuyenda bwino, there's rampant corruption and what kumene uko they can be communicating with their parent country here, this is what is happening here China, boma lomwe asankhali mavuto ake wakuti. If that information get leaked, then chamapeze kuti diplomacy imavutirawo zinachitikako nthawi ya Bingu, they chased a diplomat because of a leaked information. Okay, it was not properly handled, so it fell into the hands of the Malawi government, and they were not pleased. Physical data, how do you destroy it? So kuocha is not very safe. First and foremost, you use a shredder. I never. Not a professional. No, that one never. It will shred it into pieces and then you burn. Otherwise, just burning it. Like for example, my shower moto. What will happen is ango check and up mwamba okawa but the middle ones they will remain intact. Okay, even upper mwamba if I have a camera with a good resolution, you can take pictures. Okay, okay. Yeah, so there's a policy that you use when you're destroying physical files. You shred them using a professional shredder, and then others, especially my experts oziwawonera mkalasi likasa ija kuitafuna ndikumeza. I remember there was one genius guy in our class. Genius was obera. So my tablets they were new. It's something and it was unheard of it. So he brought it into an exam. Okay. Not tumangoda body each time yagamalemba angopa ikuza tablet jet. And then the invigilator was fascinated. Hakula wa bunch. Then another muzandani. Then it inganenoti dean one high many college what the coordinator or the principal I should say. So she came. What is this? It's a Bible. Tuone nduguseguladi yani Bible ija. I would koma next time indeza Bible ozokomano musamabwere nazo mmayeso. Okay. No, not necessarily. Okay. The thing is that then my smartphone they were not okay. They were just new my tablets you you can open any application here it happened to nango segula application ya Bible. So in her thinking she really thought maybe it's an electronic Bible without knowing mene mujawaika mu mabuku ose ma PDF janjani. So no, it's just an application. Chimozi phone yabo. You can install an application ya Bible, isn't it? Someone asks you what is this? It's a Bible. You usegula and wasegulira Bible jet. Kuma there are folders there, my gallery, you can keep other documents, isn't it? My lecture notes and whatnot, and then you can refer. So that's what he did. Oh, amen. And in how you are the invigilators, Zamina Maika and Hajora Nava Wawa. And Hajora Nava Wawa. Magatenga, my primary teachers are mizenage. And they would really zero on you, Is that ball? Ah, you know what? Iweyo nga twakoza 50 should be proud nga twayuza nzeru zawe. Of course. Yeah, and those are. That's what happens. Oh, please. Okay, so what does information management do? What is the role of information management in a workplace? So it allows organization to achieve various goals. It improves compliance, reduces risks, and controls access to vital business information, such as your strategic plan. So that information is very vital to any organization for its survival. Gets in the hands of your opponents, they'll capitalize on it and improve on it and kick you out of business. So here are some of the reasons why information management is important in a workplace. 1, controls creation of records. So it can help an organization control the creation and growth of records. Without a defined strategy for creating and recording information, the workplace can produce excessive paper and paperless records. So this can increase time for retrieving records and increase cost of managing information resources. To prevent this, information management protocols sets limits to creating and destruction of information to improve productivity and effectiveness. Ngati kunoko we planet nthawi ya mayeso mapepala amene amafunika. Sorry chief, room 2 eh? As part of controls it, so that you don't end up buying unnecessary papers, marima paper. Those things are expensive, isn't it? Now, if you don't plan with okay, how many are needed, mapetake mapezotu mugula zambirimbiri, which will have an effect on your budget. So to avoid that, you set up a committee, and over the years, matter one a trend, would okay, paland magwood. How much paper should we use to use amount? Pali makoses ena amene amafunika anthu apangezi magraph chanchani, you have to plan it. Okay, kosi imene kamula anthu 10, make a provision of 15 just in case. Okay. Otherwise, if there aren't proper controls, then you start wasting resources. Also, you can encourage people to go digital. Instead of wasting paper, you encourage people to go digital. I can foresee that 2 or 3 years from now, my solembeda pa paper was a see. Okay. And beat as a copper computer. The only challenge is imakala capacity now. Can everyone type? Okay. Because it's different from writing. Kutaipa kuja, obviously, over 3 hours, there are 5 questions you have to attempt. Okay, and Jova explaining this zikulu. And your typing skills are not that good. Machitawanga would be a party. Yeah, yeah. Komambiris my sentence constructions are poor. How I wish we would have harnessed our mother language. For, for China is a language. You go to South Korea, the same thing. Maigwambiri. Komaguno ish. So here you have a bunch of people, sazi wa chankwide chao bwino fule, komaso chisunguso sajizi waso bwino, they're just there on the middle. They can't express themselves. My policy, yes, policy makers need to change. Muntu mother language yabo basi should be regarded as a backward person. What's that? You are regarded as a backward person. Pa Tanzania pomwepa sungapite ndi chizungu chako chanchani. They put their language first. South Africa, the same thing. So secondly, it ensures regulatory compliance. So many organizations have to work within regulations of that particular country regarding how they handle client and business data. So an effective MIS provides guidelines that enforce compliance with laws and regulations, allowing the company to avoid legal and financial penalties that could result from accidental breaches. So whatever data that we put in our management information system, there have to be controls on how we protect that data. Mabank, they keep your financial records. How would you feel all of a sudden you're just getting calls from said after that we are say maguti, then you wonder okay, or someone say ndimagupempa 50 pini undimana and yet you have millions in your account. How do you feel? There's breach of privacy. Yeah, you trusted that bank to keep your transactions private, and then someone decides to share with your colleagues. Okay? Kapena kunchito wako kumene basa anthu ena azikusata and then they obtain bank statement without your knowledge. Then you would sue that bank. Facebook. You talk to many people, kapena WhatsApp, and then my messages ako ampase muntu wina. Eh? Komano, to avoid that in the first place, when they're designing that software, I'm going to my encryption. Not even WhatsApp can view your data. That's one way your bank prevent any legal battles with their clients. My message I mean rooms and they're encrypted. Not even WhatsApp can view them. Okay? These normal messages, they are not encrypted. As I send you a normal message, TNM Binzaga Tawiyaruse. Yeah, Komano, by law, they are not supposed to do that unless they get a warrant from a judicial office. A PDD. Koma PDD, you could see what it's calculated it. Blackmail so moment. Okay, palimak. Madibwe sirantoja mwe. Eh? Okay. Okay. Just a second. designing, purchasing oil cars. Congratulations. Adopts new technologies, provides the capability to adopt newer and more efficient technologies of managing information. So most of new technologies are needed because of their capabilities in automating processes. Okay. Some even use artificial intelligence in analyzing data. All right. Let us stop there for today. Uh, Timbukanga. And I've said that we should review, but I think it would be only fair for me to do it next week because of how. I'll give you this very same paper friends wrote it. Zomer. So, BBA 009 BBS stroke 1622.
Then the one is the highest. Anyway, what's the word? Why, child? Anyway. Anyway.
How come I'm coming up with a room and I'm in a
Oh.
Who's up? BBA 001?